Welcome to the Stone Energy Corporation Safety and Environmental Management System Facility Orientation. Commitment. Stone Energy Corporation is committed to the health and safety of its employees, contractors, and the community where it operates. We will operate under sound environmental practices and will conduct our operations in compliance with all applicable laws, regulations, and standards. Stone Energy will prioritize our work as follows: safety to all personnel, protection of the environment, compliance with all laws and regulations, maximize production, and minimize cost. There will be no exceptions. At this time, locate your person in charge to point out emergency escape route locations and muster station locations. Pause DVD while performing this exercise. All personnel will participate in all safety meetings and all emergency drills, muster area roll calls, and head counts. Meeting sign-in sheets shall be used for verifications. Attendee records shall be filed in cabinet and uploaded into the SEMS system. All accidents and injuries must be reported immediately, no matter how minor. Report to immediate supervisor verbally. Stone Energy incident report to be filled out and emailed to chain of command as well as the email addresses listed below. All incidents resulting in a recordable injury or a near miss that had the potential of causing a serious injury or death will be investigated to determine the root cause. Those findings will be shared across our assets. Random drug and alcohol tests as well as bag searches may be conducted at any time to any and/or all personnel. Please list any medical conditions and all medications being taken while at the Stone Energy facility. Inform PIC if you are taking any over-the-counter medications that could prevent you from performing your job safely. Inform PIC of any special medical needs or allergies. The facility rules are as follows. Good housekeeping practice is a must. Please be courteous when visiting and clean up after yourselves. This includes your work areas. The following PPE is required in all work areas on a Stone Energy facility: hard hats, safety boots, safety glasses, hearing protection, and gloves. The following PPE is required if chipping or grinding: goggles and face shields. The following PPE is required when handling chemicals: rubber gloves, aprons, goggles, any special PPE required by the MSDS. The following PPE is required when working over 6 feet and/or raised areas without handrails: lanyards, harnesses, and SRL. All leaks and hazards to safety and the environment must be reported to your immediate supervisor and/or PIC of the facility immediately. Incident report must be filled out and emailed to your chain of command as well as the email addresses listed below. Leaks that impact the environment shall be reported to the facility PIC, which in turn will notify ES&H immediately. All personnel have the stop work authority for any job on any Stone Energy worksite regardless of rank. Do not perform any work or allow any work to be performed by others that could cause an injury, an incident, or a near miss. If the work cannot be performed safely, you have a duty to stop the job immediately and notify your immediate supervisor and/or facility person in charge. There will be no repercussions from anyone for stopping the job due to an unsafe act or condition. You will have been authorized by the highest level of management within Stone Energy to stop the job if deemed necessary. Conduct or review the job safety and environmental analysis prior to beginning any project. Always perform a JSEA prior to beginning any project unless the work to be performed is part of your everyday routine activity. If any situation arises that is different than what was covered in the original JSEA, then this warrants you to stop the job and a new JSEA must be performed. If using an existing JSEA, it must be fully reviewed again with the new changes prior to performing the job. All parties on the platform shall participate in the JSEA review even if not performing the job. Job awareness by all parties is required. All incidents, near misses, personal illnesses must be reported to your immediate supervisor and/or PIC of the facility as soon as it is safe to do so. Report to immediate supervisor verbally. Stone Energy Incident Report to be filled out and emailed to the chain of command as well as the email addresses listed below. All personnel are to comply with all site-specific safety instructions, including posted signs, instructions, and any other given guidance or instructions per the facility PIC. All personnel are to follow Stone Energy's lockout-tagout policy and procedure when applicable. Third-party locks will not be suitable by themselves. It must be accompanied by a Stone Energy lock belonging to a designated Stone Energy representative. All lockout-tagout is required to be documented and shall be accompanied by a complete JSEA. The use of cut-resistant gloves and a JSEA is required when using any open blade knife or tool. Otherwise, employees must use the Stone Energy approved Craftsman 3-in-1 AccuCut alternative cutting device. The approved alternative cutting device shall be available on all Stone Energy facilities. If your company has its own written knife policy, then it shall supersede the Stone Energy policy. The use of handheld portable electronic devices, such as but not limited to mobile phones, iPods, cameras, etc., may not be used within 30 feet of a classified area without issuance of a hot work permit approved by the Stone Energy facility person in charge. The Stone Energy safety operating procedures are available to all personnel upon request. Please review before beginning a task. All personnel shall have the appropriate training provided by their company to allow the employee to perform their specific work in a safe and environmentally sound manner. The employer shall provide a copy of these credentials to the Stone Energy facility in which they intend to carry out the work to be performed prior to beginning any work. Short service employees shall be accompanied by a mentor. Once the mentor has verified that the SSE is qualified to carry out the work safely in compliance with all laws, policies, and procedures, and the mentor has signed off on the SSE, then the SSE may continue unsupervised. Short service employees shall be clearly identified by having the SSE decal affixed to a hard hat that is different in color from all other hard hats on location, and shall be accompanied by a mentor at all times while out on the work site. Once the mentor has verified that the SSE is qualified to carry out the work safely in compliance with all laws, policies, and procedures, and the mentor has signed off on the SSE, then the SSE may continue unsupervised. All work performed on a Stone Energy facility will be subject to an unannounced audits at any time by either the employer that performed the work or a Stone Energy Corporation representative. Locate, read, and understand the assigned duties, stations, and emergency signals on the facility station bill. Offshore site specific. Stone Energy Corporation requires its contractors to be properly trained to work safely and be aware of the safety and environmental considerations offshore. Your employer is required to have provided you with the training necessary to perform your job in a safe and environmentally sound manner. Be familiar with lifeboat locations and emergency escape routes. Demonstrate, identify, and recognize the differences between alarms. Always announce test prior to a demonstration or test. The following PPE is required when working near and over water. Type 1 PFDs and work vest. Work vest may be worn while on platform working near the water level or below the lowest working deck. Type 1 PFD life jackets must be worn anytime you are over the water or anytime you are below the lowest working deck on the facility. Life jacket and work vest may be found. All personnel are required to review the latest marine debris video as it pertains to marine trash and debris awareness and elimination. Initialing line 20 indicates the employee has viewed the video within the last year and or understands marine debris per the federal regulations.
You know what this is? Easy, right? It's a plastic bottle. Okay, now, stay with me here. What is it now? Now, it's marine debris. Same with this. Now it's a wrench, and now it's marine debris. If you work in the oil and gas industry, you've probably heard a lot about marine debris. As an industry, we're working really hard to keep our stuff out of the water, and that's what this video is all about. But that doesn't mean that the marine debris problem has been solved. Au contraire. We still contribute to the problem unintentionally. In fact, 5-gallon buckets are among the most commonly accidentally lost oil and gas industry items that become marine debris, along with life vests, some kind of plastic sheeting, scaffold boards, hand tools, and as you might have guessed it, hard hats. I hate to admit it, but I think I'm probably the clumsiest person I know, because I seem to find it really easy to lose my hard hat. See what I mean? I'm thinking about inventing some sort of Velcro ski mask-like thing that keeps my hard hat from going anywhere near the water. Man, I wish I'd been the one to invent Velcro. Sorry, I digress. Now, is it really a big deal that this stuff is going into the oceans, the gulfs, and the bays? After all, there's so much water, and this is comparatively small stuff. Well, it is a big deal, because this stuff gets combined with a lot of other stuff. Now, just think about it. Recreational boaters and cruise ship passengers, and even people enjoying a day on the beach, could contribute things like bottles and cans and cigarette butts and sunglasses. Commercial fishing boats and shrimp boats add nets and fishing line. Cargo shipping lines, too, can accidentally lose things overboard. When you combine all of this stuff, it builds up and causes more damage than you might think. First and foremost, marine debris is a serious threat to fish, marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, and other marine life. Some get entangled in strapping bands, discarded ropes, and plastic six-pack rings. When they can't get free, they can't feed, and they starve or drown. Some eat the debris, thinking that it's food. But because the debris can't be digested, it blocks their intestines and guts. After suffering major internal damage, they starve to death. You'd think, for example, that cigarette butts would decompose in the water, but they don't. Most contain some form of plastic, so if they do decompose, it will take many years. And you know, as we go out into deeper waters, we expose even more marine animals to our operations. threatened and endangered species, like the sperm whale, for example, and some species of sea turtles, can all suffer because something unintentionally became marine debris. Some of this stuff sinks to the sea floor where it can sit for an incredibly long time. An aluminum can, for example, will take nearly 100 years to decompose. A glass bottle, 1,000,000 years. That's right. I said 1,000,000. Now, some of this stuff doesn't sink, but floats on the surface or drifts in the water column. And that's when it becomes dangerous to not only fish, marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, and other wildlife, but also to people. This stuff can seriously hurt both commercial and recreational boaters should they run across it. It can damage boat hulls, obviously, but it can also foul propellers and clog the water intake ports on engines, causing boat owners to incur heavy losses of both time and money. Have you ever seen an angry boat owner? Ooh, I sure have, and Mom was pretty mad, let me tell you. What doesn't sink is going to drift and may end up on somebody's beach or shore. Every year, for example, volunteers like these in Corpus Christi, Texas, have to do major beach cleanups. From South Padre Island, Texas, to Fort Myers, Florida, volunteers from communities that share the Gulf of Mexico have to go out and clean up trash. Cans, bottles, even people's butts. And when there aren't enough volunteers, our taxpayer dollars have to be spent so that our beaches and parks aren't trashed. And like that bottle trying to decompose, it can take millions. So, what does all this have to do with you? Well, before you work on a marine facility, you need to understand that you must do everything you can to keep debris and trash from going into the water. Here's why. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because the United States Coast Guard, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Department of Interior's Minerals Management Service have put into place strict laws and regulations regarding marine debris and trash. Not only is it illegal to deliberately put trash and debris into the water, but it's also illegal to accidentally let trash and debris go into the water and then make no attempt to retrieve it, if it's safe to do so. Think you won't get caught? Think again. The rules and regulations also specify that all equipment, tools, and containers must include durable identification markings so that it can be traced back to the facility from which it was lost. As the world's clumsiest guy, I can tell you from experience, lots of experience, that it's much easier to prevent losing things than it is to retrieve them. That's why I use a tethered chin strap on my hard hat until I can get my new invention patented, and always check to see that buckets are secured. Other things I do that you should do too. I use cigarette butt containers. I tie things down, secure them, and stow them. I store loose items in baskets or lockers. And I always make sure that when I throw something away, the lid on the trash bin is in place and fits tightly. Look, I don't want somebody driving down my street throwing trash onto my lawn, which I could eat and choke on. I mean, my dog could eat and choke on. I don't want to be responsible for doing that to a sea turtle or a dolphin, and I know you don't want to either. So be careful with your stuff. Remember to clear your gear, and be aware of where you put things and how you dispose of them. And let the placards posted around the facility remind you to do the right thing. Trust me, it's a whole lot easier to prevent things from going into the water than it is to go and get them. So put on your thinking cap, under your hard hat, of course, and come up with other ways to keep debris out of the water. Who knows? Your next creative idea for keeping something from becoming marine debris might be the next big thing. Like Velcro. Think about it.
Onshore site specific. Stone Energy Corporation requires its contractors to be properly trained to work safely and be aware of the safety and environmental considerations on shore. Your employer is required to have provided you with the training necessary to perform your job in a safe and environmentally sound manner. All employees, company, contract, and subcontract must wear fire retardant clothing at all times while working on a Stone Energy offshore location. All information regarding the Stone Energy Safety and Environmental Management System can be found in the link section of the Stone Energy intranet homepage. This completes the Stone Energy SEMS facility training. At this time, locate your person in charge for questions and further instructions.